Howdy everyone, Viva Frei. This was supposed to be a car vlog, but I don't currently have access to the car, so it's turning into a curbside vlog. And for those of you who have been living under a judicial rock and haven't heard one of the biggest stories of the week, Derek Chauvin, the man who was convicted of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter in the death of George Floyd. Go figure how you can be convicted of murder and manslaughter where one involves intent and the other one doesn't. Whatever. We're not going to revisit our legal assessment of the Derek Chauvin conviction. The man was convicted on all counts.
Mr. Chauvin, this is your opportunity if you wish to give any input to the court. And so I turn it over to you and your attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, due to some additional legal matters at hand, I'm not able to give a full formal statement at this time. But very briefly, though, I do want to give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope things will give you some peace of mind. Thank you.
And I'll note that I did read your comments in the pre-sentence investigation as well.
Thanks, Ron.
He's been in jail, and apparently he's not being protected in jail as a police officer convicted of killing a black man in the context of a case that literally resulted in the world being set on fire. Protection lacking because as Derek Chauvin was in the law library in prison, he was shanked 22 times, stabbed 22 times. Oh, I'm going to forget the guy's name now. Tuscan? I forget the name of the guy. Whatever. I'll put the name in the text here, the name of the guy. His name was John Turskak, Viva, you senile buffoon. Stabbed 22 times. Life-saving techniques were applied to Derek Chauvin. According to the Associated Press, the Bureau of Prisons said employees performed, quote, life-saving measures, end quote, where Chauvin was taken to hospital for treatment. And he is expected to survive. He's in stable condition, apparently, but he was stabbed 22 times. And by whom he was stabbed is curious. He was stabbed by a 56-year-old inmate who, from what I understand, was scheduled to be released in 2026. According to the New York Times, the court docket did not list a lawyer for Mr. Turskak on Friday, but according to a previous case, he was listed with a 2026 release date. So it's a little odd that a man who is scheduled to be released in 2 years, 2.5 years, would decide to do something like this, which is going to result in him being locked away for the rest of his life. I think the charge is 60 years, no less than 60 years. So this man who is 56 was scheduled to be released in 2 years. Well, now he's going to be released at 116 if he gets there. I wouldn't be optimistic. But that's not the only thing that's peculiar about this incident. The fact that Derek Chauvin was left apparently open to the general prison population, in jail, in prison, in the law library, left vulnerable, given the fact that he is a high-profile, racially charged convict, charged in a racially charged, you know what I'm getting at. He was left alone to be stabbed. According to CBS News, documents allege that he stabbed Chauvin with an, quote, improvised knife, end quote, in the law library of the Tucson Federal Correctional Institution on November 26. In post-Miranda interview with FBI agents, he said he'd been thinking of assaulting Chauvin for approximately 1 month because of his high-profile status. The man who stabbed him, not only getting out of jail in 2 years, bizarre, was an FBI informant in the 90s who apparently was a snitch, an FBI snitch for gangs. Again from CBS News, Turskak is serving a 30-year prison sentence for carrying out crimes while working as a federal informant. He was recruited as part of a 1999 case that eventually brought down charges against members of the Mexican Mafia, a gang that he admitted he had joined in the 1990s, according to court documents. This is just absolutely crazy. And he was convicted, and he was sent to jail, so the man who stabbed Derek Chauvin is a former FBI informant, snitch, whatever you want to call him, and he himself has a bit of an interesting history above and beyond that. He's been in jail for a long time. Back in 2005, he filed a writ of habeas corpus, arguing that he's being unduly exposed to risk in prison because of the fact that he is a known FBI informant in the prison population with gang members, and I think some of whom that he actually had a role in putting in jail, directly or indirectly. I might be wrong on that, but he's a known FBI informant in the general population with gang members who are convicted who might not be too friendly to snitches. So this guy, 2005, filed a writ of habeas corpus in which he alleged that he's being put in undue danger by not being protected, being put in the prison population. Apparently, he also was stabbed way back in the day. According to somebody else who I discovered while looking into this, at JLR Investigates, he put out a great video on this as well. John Tursak, who stabbed Derek Chauvin 22 times, claimed back in 2005 that Mexican mafia inmates were trying to kill him for being an FBI informant. Tursak claims he was stabbed by another inmate in USP Atlanta. Habeas corpus petition, and a link to his video, which I'll include in the pinned comment. And I don't know, it doesn't seem like he got much of an answer to his writ of habeas corpus, but this man was a gang member, turned FBI informant, allegedly killed a man on his own, allegedly authorized the killing of another man. This was in 90 and 98, respectively. And back to the CBS article, he also said he murdered a man in 1990 while he was in Folsom Prison, and authorized the murder of another man in 1998, according to court documents. And with respect to Chauvin, Chauvin was hospitalized following the attack, but was said to be in stable condition as of yesterday. That's a pretty important caveat right there. Who has now stabbed Derek Chauvin 22 times in the prison library, where I guess this pro se litigant, which was the FBI informant who stabbed Derek Chauvin, filed his pro se writ of habeas corpus back in 2005. So, he's familiar with the law library, and he saw Derek Chauvin there on Black Friday, which has nothing to do with race, by the way. Black Friday is the day typically when retail stores go back in the profit. So they call it Black Friday, where you go out of the red and into the black. Whatever, this guy said Black Friday is going to be the day where I'm going to commemorate the death of George Floyd by stabbing the guy that got convicted of killing him. He saw his opportunity on Black Friday and said he attacked Chauvin on that day because it was symbolic of the Black Lives Matter movement and the, quote, black hand, end quote, symbol associated with the Mexican mafia, charges allege. That was allegedly the motivation, although given the informant's displeasure with the system as a whole, given the fact that he was arguing that he was being put at risk by not being sufficiently protected, I don't know, I'm thinking like outside the box. Set aside some MK Ultra stuff where they go and convince this prison snitch to go throw away the rest of his life over Derek Chauvin. Dude's going to be released 58 years old, has the better part of 30 years left of his life, throws it away to stab Derek Chauvin. So setting aside some MK Ultra, convincing this guy to do it, part of me is thinking maybe he knows he's going to get killed on the outside, and this is the only way that he can ensure his survival, his protection in the system, by being so dangerous they have to put him into solitary or whatever, de facto protect him, notwithstanding the fact that in protecting him, he's wasted the rest of his life. That's the news. I'll talk about it tomorrow night with Barnes on our Sunday show, Viva Barnes Law for the People. That's it. That's the news. Just a typical Friday, Saturday in 2023. Peace. Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt. And I always forget to remind everyone to like, share, and subscribe if you like my content. And no, these are not my cars behind me yet. But my goodness, are they beautiful. Yeah.